looking for, I'm going to tell you, it got something to do with Africa. But I'm saying here is we negate the whole Olmec society. You see what I'm saying? And temples that's in the Grand Canyon and all of this American stuff. And why did they find the Stela of Akhenaten in Oklahoma 30 years before they even knew Akhenaten existed? So the thing about it is the African Heritage Foundation that was in Africa, that was chartered by white people and all white people, is that they wanted to shut down and to make a non-global black man. So you have to be aware of that. We have to look at this thing not only as Africa, but we have to look at this thing as a global people. Because the mysteries are global. See where I'm coming from here? You see, so that's it. What's that, brother?
If I might add, it sounds like you're saying that they made a black man on paper like the straw man.
Basically, yeah.
A black man on paper.
Well, it would be, well, yeah, in what kind of, the whole aspect of the black man that they want you to perceive that you are. You see what I'm saying? They perceive that you are. And we'll go into this thing when we go into this Pope that visited America in a few minutes. And that whole thing that went down. So give me some more questions right quick. Yeah,
What's this growing every year? I know it grows and grows. We have like 12, 13, 14-year-old our black dudes into this homosexual.
They put estrogen, what is it? Estrogen in the Similac.
Soy milk.
Soy milk and soybean products produce a lot of estrogen. Now even the valvalarian in the Matrix book said that eating tofu turn you gay.
But
You see what I'm saying?
but also the animals they put in the high hormone, the female hormone.
Yeah.
Which is reproductive.
Yeah. And so they were saying this, but what it is, and you know, they had these things in there in the valvalarian Matrix books, but what it is, and you know, people thought that was kind of funny, but when you break it down, they're talking about the whole estrogen thing. Now, if you do these things in young people, you see what I'm saying? You got all kind of hormonal imbalances. Now, let me give you an example. Like, fluoride. Fluoride shuts down the pineal gland. It calcifies the pineal gland. Now, the sister Deborah that I used to be in business with the Serious Times and the Ark of Sophis, she spent years over in Belgium when she was in the service. And she'd also done some research and said that the fluoride is in no countries in Europe has fluoride. And she said she noticed when she was over in Europe that her hair would grow down her back. And she said all the black people, what little few black people she would meet, their hair would grow down the back. Now we know that happens when people dread up. The dreadlocks that go to your thing. But our hair, basically, you don't have to dread up. They're saying that basically, all the black people in Europe, their hair would be down their back. And it's because they don't have fluoride in the water.
Or toothpaste.
Or in the toothpaste, well, you know. But the thing about it, they don't allow fluoride, period, in none of the countries in Europe. You see what I'm saying? So what they did here is, and it's interesting because the Brother Panic had something that they got it in Mexico, but they got a higher dose in Mexico. And so when the Mexican people, what it is this here, the Mexican people, they put it in your toothpaste. It's in all our toothpaste. So what it is they got a higher dosage in Mexico because they was not able to put it into the water system. So what they did with us, they'll put a dosage in the toothpaste and they'll put some in the water system. And that calcifies the pineal gland. Now, in Mexico, because they wasn't able to manipulate the water system, what they did was they put a high dosage of fluoride in the toothpaste. So the Mexicans, when they would come over, they had certain dollar stores in the area that sold Mexican products. So they was buying the Mexican toothpaste and then drinking the doggone water over here and was dying because it was a high dosage in the toothpaste. You see what I'm saying? So what it is this, and they're probably doing it on the continent of Africa. What it is, it's a monitor to shut down the pineal glands. Now let me explain something. Edgar Cayce, Nostradamus, and even the Rosicrucians, who had memos and doctrines that's left behind by the Moors. It's in the book Vera Stanley Alder's book, The Finding of the Third Eye. What's the name of that book? Anybody know? The Finding of the what is it? The Finding of the Third Eye. There's a chapter in there where she talks about in the latter part of the 20th century, the pineal glands will open up. Well, that's what happened with us. That's why you conscious. Somewhere in the past 20-something years, around 20, like 97, 98, your pineal glands started rumbling and vibrating, and you had a thirst for knowledge. So this was prophesied in that. She got hers from the Rosicrucian cosmos conception. This was a Rosicrucian's prophecy that the Rosicrucians got from the Moors. Edgar Cayce said that in the latter days of the 1990s and the late 80s, there will be a world avatar that will come to the earth and give everybody enlightenment, and his name will be John Pineal. So if you understand, John is On in Egypt, and On is Anubis. You see what I'm saying? Or Tot-On, Tahuti, they're talking about melanin. John, melanin pineal. So John Pineal means the pineal gland. You see? Jacob wrestled with the angel all night, and in daybreak he saw the face of God, which was called what? Pineal. Now, the Nostradamus said in the 1990s, black people will come into their own. There was a brother over in France studying electromagnetism, and he ran up on these Nostradamus prophecies of black people in America coming into their own in France. These are the ones they don't put in the books. But he was over in France when he found these things in Paris. The point I'm trying to make here is that that's what happened. Your consciousness came in. And what they did was they dumped more fluoride in the water and put more fluoride in the toothpaste, or basically in the toothpaste, and they was able to, and then electromagnetic frequency waves, they were able to shut down a great deal of people, whereas there was going to be a certain amount of dead people, but there was going to be more conscious people than it ended up. You say the conscious people is probably in the thousands compared to being in the millions. You see what I'm saying? You see, in the millions, and that 1,000 is debatable. But the point I'm trying to make here is they did it through the whole fluoride thing. You see. But the prophets have said now, but the prophets have said, and now there's a new wave coming on because that's not working. We see this now with Pastor Ray Hagin. Yes. He has a whole new group of people that weren't conscious in the 90s, in the late 80s. Now they're getting into this type of stuff, and all of a sudden I went to see the brother. Well, I did a lecture in Detroit, and so they had him on Friday. They had me on Saturday. So I went to his lecture. And he ain't even dealing with the religion now. He's taking them into Francis Cress Wilson. He's taking them into Ivan Van Serter. He's taking them into Dr. Amos Wilson. He's taking them to teachers of Marcus Garvey. Stuff that they didn't get. Because he got a whole other group of people that woke up. They woke up through the religious aspect. You see what I'm saying? So when I went and saw him, this is the first thing happened. He turned around, he grabbed me, he hugged me real tight. And there's a certain thing, I got this thing with my grandmother. If you ain't nothing, there's a sense where you can tell that brother ain't right. We got that ability. When he hugged me, I was like, oh man, this brother, he got all this energy going on. And so we went up and started talking. I said, yeah. He turned around, I said, yeah, man. I said, you bridging this gap, man. You done came and started taking these dead folks into Francis Cress Wilson, Amos Wilson, Naeem Alpha. I said, you teaching them the stuff that we was learning back in the day. He was like, yeah. He said, brother, I don't want to do none of this. And I said, brother, you just said the golden word to let me know you all right. I said, because that's the reason why they chose you to do that, because you didn't want to do it. I said, that's the same way what happened to me. I didn't bit more want to stand before people and lecture up for nothing. I just did the research, and Steve Coulter was like, no, you got to get up here and do something. And when I walked in the building the day after, it was the day after the Rodney King thing. Rodney King they did the verdict on a Thursday or Friday. They rioted, and on Saturday, on Friday evening, they pulled that grid. That's all they got to do is cut off that electricity. Them niggas stopped rioting over in a few seconds when they pulled that electricity. And that's what a barber said one time. You talking that junk, all that white man got to do is cut off your electricity, and we'll see what kind of revolutionary you are. And they was fighting and rioting and stuff, and that white man went and pulled that grid. Them niggas stopped that minute. You see, so the next day he came to town, and I stepped into place, and he had heard me go through this doggone stuff with him in the hotel room about 2 months before. And he came, he said, nah, brother, you got to come up here, and you got to break this thing down. So I went up and I opened for him. He said, I got another hour to set up. And I opened for him, and then about 2 weeks later, I walked into this place is selling the video. They said, wait a minute, we heard that, we heard you before you opened for Steve Coakley. Brother said, here, man, write your name on it. We're going to do a lecture on June the 27th. Write this down and put this thing down. It made me do it. Because I didn't want to do it. And it snowballed from there. So I told Ray Hagan, I said, you don't want this. I said, that's the reason why it's going to be pure. Because there's no ulterior motives. That's right. You ain't got no self-grandizement. That's right. And I said, of course, you know you ain't going to make no money off this thing. This is a labor of love. I said, so I know you got your day job you ain't quitting, which is his church that he does and stuff like that. I said, you had that to fall back on. I didn't. You see, so that whole thing went down. But give me some more questions right quick.
What about spinning? Spinning like we did when we were children?
Yeah. Well, they got a people called over in Turkey or Chile or one of them. They call it the dervish. The swirling. Where's that, in Turkey or Chile? In Turkey. In Turkey, and they swirl like that. What that does is, I used to spin like that when I was a child, and it puts you in an altered state,
right?
Altered state of dimension. I used to do it when I got on the dance floor. That's why I had to stop dancing. When I was a dancer back then. I was to beat people's behinds, and I used to get on the dance floor. I could go into other dimensions. I didn't know what it was at the time when I was doing it in high school and stuff like that. You see, what got me out of dancing was I was in college, and it was the first day, and they had all these guys and had all these beautiful girls, and they all stepped out there, and I was a freshman, and we had the freshman week, and we stepped out there, and I said, man, and the girls was all out there, and they was waiting for the upperclassmen to come. They was waiting for the upperclassmen, senior niggas and all to come, the basketball team. So I did a little dance move, because that pop lock just came in 1980. And I did a little dance move, and the girls started hollering, whoa! And I said, I got it now. I danced for them 2 weeks before them damn seniors got there. And then the spirit whispered in my ear, that says, time for you to quit this dancing. They said, because going to be some high school boys going to come up on this yard, and you ain't going to be able to beat that young energy. And they going to embarrass you up here. And then the girls are going to throw you to the wind. So I ended my dancing career right then. You see, but I used to go into the altered states of dimension with that swirling, with that turning. So that's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. Let me show you this. What's that? Go ahead. Yeah.
I wasn't asleep one night. I was just laying in bed and I closed my eyes, and all of a sudden I heard like a buzzing, and it's like a gate that opened.
Right.
I saw just orange.
Orange.
But I felt fear, so I didn't let myself to something.
Right. The fear will save you until you're ready. So what happens here is that dimension open up, and then as long as the fear is a protection clause. It protects you until you're ready. You see what I'm saying? So you just jump back into it. But what happened was that's what happened. You hear this noise. I heard it the other night, and it's that noise is a whole nother inner ear melanin dimension that you're hearing. I want to show you this right quick. Hold on. Now you need to go to the internet. See, can you see this? You need to go to the internet and look this up. Juhayna. Juhayna. They got different flavors, and it says down here, no preservatives. No preservatives. Thing about it is whenever you get this, so what you want to do is go to the internet and you need to find out, does anybody know where they sell this in this area? I got it from the farmer's market down in Atlanta. So you need to find out and try to find, you can go to www.juhana.com and try to find out where they distribute this in this area. It has no preservatives in it, but when you drink this, you're going to have an experience. You want to know why? Because this is made on the soil of the Nile. This is made in Kemet with no preservatives. Now they got different flavors. Pina colada, all natural juices. They got strawberry, they either got the nectars or they got the juice. Yeah.
I was drinking that last year when I was in Kemet.
When you was in Kemet.
It is very potent.
It's real potent. When you get this, you're going to have an experience. Because although the fruits might come from all parts of the world, because they make it on that soil, it's like drinking the pyramid. Trust me on this one. And what you need to do, it's been over in Europe, it's just hit the United States. They just hit the United States, but what it is not unless a major company buys it and mess it up, but right now, it's made in Egypt. That's why the people are buying. That's why white folks all over the world is buying this thing. Because it's got flags all over the world who drink it. France, Germany, England, Holland, Japan, China. But you need to, it's called Juhana. Now you need to go to the internet and type in and try to find out where it is. Or you need to go to several farmers markets. Do you have the big farmers markets? See, that's the thing. We got a big one in Atlanta. Yeah. But see, can you find it? Because I got it, and this is the one. But when you get this, it's going to make the difference. Because once this hits your blood system, it's going to be a whole nother world. You see what I'm saying? When you get that. Once this hits your blood system, it's going to be a whole nother world. This is made in Kemet. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Does the flavor matter?
It doesn't matter what flavor, but this one here make you slap your mama. This costs $1.60 for a cart like this. Or you can buy a case of them for $6. Or you can buy a case of the little small ones like the children drink. But it's like $1.60 for a box. It looks like about this tall. They're very inexpensive. But it's made in Egypt. Another thing is this. This has melanin in it. Rita Sports, chocolate, Negro, dark chocolate. Negro, dark chocolate. This has melanin in it, and it's for anti-aging, antioxidant. It's got antioxidants in it for anti-aging, for as a matter of fact, it even makes you lose weight. See what happens here with this one, they had a show in England and it was this woman had a candy fetish. And she was eating all that milk chocolate. It was like, no, you got to get dark chocolate. Now, this is the deal on this. The people in Europe, when they found out this mysteries of cacao, or cocoa, or cacao, you get the movie Chocolat. And in the movie Chocolat, when she was moving in the movie, she had two black men helping her move in. Whenever they found the mysteries of the cacao, they became chocolate masters in Europe. They said one thing they won't do, they would never bring the secrets to America. So what happened was Hershey and them got a part of the secrets and a couple of candy people, and the stuff you've been eating in America, you've been calling chocolate, is a simulation of chocolate. The real dark chocolate only started coming within the last 6, 7, 8 years. So this particular one here is in Europe, but this particular one here, once you eat this, you can't never eat that other stuff ever.
Where are you getting
from America?
Where are you getting it?
What's his name? Target introduced this one. Target introduced this one in January. Target. Now, I want to show you something. This is the deal. So they sold this one all of January. Now I'm gonna tell you what the deal is. This is the way it is sold in Europe. chocolate Negro. So now, when you go now, because white folks bought them all up. So now, when you go now, they're going to be a bag of the same stuff, Rita Sports, and it's going to have chocolate so-and-so, but it's not going to have the Negro on it. It's going to be the same chocolate. It's not going to have Negro on it, a Negro, but it's going to say chocolate such and such, dark chocolate. And so that's the one. That's the one. So what's going to happen here is this was the only one they put in. This is the one they put like this for January to introduce it, and white folks bought it up. When I saw it, I said, I got to get some of this. And I bit into it, and I said, oh, I can't never eat no more doggone Hershey's. That stuff is fake. They never showed us what real chocolate was like. And this got melanin in it. The Negro right here in Europe means melanin, melatonin.
What's the source of the melanin for them? Do you know?
Huh?
What's the source of the melanin for them?
No, this dark chocolate has a natural melanin in it from the plant.
Okay.
The cacao. Huh? Yeah. Well, you want to do all that. I mean, I ain't that kind of nuts and bolts Negro to be making my own nothing. Yeah. Huh?
Advertising chocolate from South America that's supposed to be healing and all that.
Right. This is this is the type of stuff. So my point here is they're going to sell this. It's going to be a bag. Or this dark bag, but it's not going to have this on it, but it's the same thing. As long as you see chocolate, so-and-so dark chocolate. Now, they still might have a couple of these bars. What's that? Mm-hmm.
I was at the Target on 14th Street, and they do sell this, and they do not have the Negro on it. You're right. Because I got one, but you know what I did? I thought, oh, this is probably sweet chocolate, and I put it back. But they have it at the 14th Street.
Guess what? This one here tastes like milk chocolate.
Yeah, it does.
It's dark chocolate, though.
Yeah, that's right.
It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
You know, I accidentally bought that maybe about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
I am like addicted to it.
Yeah, you get this thing right here, man. You get addicted to this thing here.
And I lost weight, and I was wondering why.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am like addicted to it.
Yeah, you get this thing right here, man. You get addicted to this thing here.
And I lost weight, and I was wondering why.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. And the thing about Linda is almost a carbon copy of this girl sitting at the table right here. They're almost like sisters, same weight and everything. So them kind of people, you just like the hell with you because they can eat anything. So Linda, my girl, she can eat a whole bag of this and it ain't gonna even affect her. Because they just got them kind of Negroes, man, they can eat. And it don't affect them. Yeah, period.
3 minutes.
Oh, for a break? Okay, for the break, yeah. So this is one that you want to get. Is this one here? Is this one here? And we're gonna. So what I'm gonna do is this. I want to do this now. There's a brother named Kevin sent me a papyrus. There you go. There you go. Y'all, yeah. Good to see you. Finally meet you, man. Okay. And he sent me this papyrus, Egyptian mystical rites, a notes on the ceremonial mysticism. So the day he sent it, this particular entity who showed up in January, no, he showed up in June. Let me see if I got him up here. Y'all all right?
Yeah. More than all right.
He showed up in June and said it was his papyrus. So he said, whoever get this papyrus, which is about 10 pages, and get this picture, whatever you go in that papyrus, whatever you want, you'll be able to do. You just got to learn how to read it. We'll go through some of the actual ones, but it's a 10-page. And it's interesting because one of the brothers from Canada that I went to go speak in Canada the end of 2006, he called last week and said, we got a lot of brothers up here that's getting killed because they killing them like they do here in Canada and in England. He said, and so these brothers be wanting to do certain mystical rites to send them to the other side the right way. And I said, hold on. And I looked in the papyrus and there was one right in there on how to send your ancestors to the right thing. So they got one for money, they got one for healing, they got one for love, they got one for love. You see what I'm saying? They got, so anything that you want, one to tap into the higher levels and your divine stuff, all that is in this papyrus. So, in this papyrus, so anyway, this is the deity. The brother sent me this particular papyrus, and then this deity had showed up in January. He said, hey man, that's my thing. He got 2 knives, which indicates the power. Real powerful deity. So what you do is, and we're gonna go to the break after I say this. You take the papyrus, whatever you want, you put this entity on the wall, and then you go into the papyrus and light you a red candle, and recite what's in the metadata in there, and it'll come. But the link was, because they got a lot of these papyrus, the link was, you got to line them up with a certain picture. And this entity is the son of Sekhmet. And they knew it was son of Sekhmet, but they didn't know where to find his picture. And his picture was on the side of King Tut's sarcophagus. And I found it in August. But this is the entity, and with this, you can't go wrong. Whatever you want, you will be able to get through this papyrus and the actual aspect of this. Now the other thing here is, and the thing, other thing is the third eye ritual. The third eye ritual. It's a ritual to open your third eye, and it works. And accompanying that third eye ritual on the second page is every kind of aspect to raise your kundalini. So all this is on here. There's only 10 ways to raise the kundalini. So we're gonna go to a break. There's only 5. It's 5 for the papyrus, 5 for the picture, to get, and this is 5. But we talk about stuff that works. So anybody that's interested in these type of things, you can come up to me and get that. Plus we got a lot of other pictures and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, we're gonna take about a half an hour break, and let's show some patronage to Everlasting Life. Great live food. Next door, we got a few vendors in the back that we hope we patronize these vendors. Brother Azazel got some awesome tapes and books over there. If you want to enlighten your consciousness, then I ask that you would please go over there to those tables. And again, the name of the game was collective economics. We as the people got to start supporting each other.